Hi everyone, and welcome back to Queen G's Recipes. And today I'm going to be showing you how to make my chocolate cheesecake macarons. Now this is the final episode to my cookie series, so I thought we would make it a really good recipe. Now a lot of people are intimidated by making macarons, but really they are very simple to make, and if you just follow these instructions you will definitely have it on your first try. So I'm going to go over the ingredients and show you guys how we make these delicious chocolate cheesecake macarons. So what we have here is 3/4 cups of almond flour, and if you don't have almond flour you can always in a food processor crush up your about 3/4 cups of almonds, and it will give you the equivalent of 3/4 cups of the almond flour. So also we have here 1 cup of icing sugar, also known as powdered sugar. We're going to be using a pinch of salt, 3 egg whites, 1/4 cup of cocoa. I'm also going to be adding in 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract and 3 teaspoons of granulated sugar. We also have here a piping bag. I'm using a Wilton piping bag, but if you don't have a piping bag, you can always use a Ziploc bag and just cut off the tip once you're ready to make your macarons. I will also be showing you guys how to make our filling, which is going to be a cream cheese filling. So it's going to be perfect and it's going to complement the chocolate perfectly, the chocolate macaron cookies. So that's why they are called chocolate cheesecake macarons. So definitely I'm going to be making this in my standing mixer, but if you do want to make it with a handheld electric mixer, that will be fine too. But most definitely I suggest you use some sort of a electric whisk, because it is difficult to whisk up the egg whites to soft peaks and get the right consistency. So let's move on. Okay, so now we're going to take our egg whites, put it into our bowl here, and we're going to mix this until it's frothy, so just a light foamy texture. And then we're going to add in our salt, and then after about 30 seconds or so we are going to add in our sugar slowly. Okay, so this is the consistency you want your meringues at. You can see nice firm peaks. That's exactly what you want. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take out our whisk. Okay. We're going to add in our vanilla, and we're going to give that a mix just with the spatula. Now you want to be careful not to let out the air of your meringue. So just do it gently and carefully. Okay. And then we're going to sift in our dry ingredients. So you can't just pour them in. We're just going to sift them in, make sure that we don't have any large granules of almond flour or of powdered sugar. So I'm going to get my sieve here. Whoops, I got a little bit of meringue here on my sieve, but that's okay. Like that. And we're going to sift in our almond flour. Okay, so you'll be left with something like this once you run all your almond flour through a sieve. Now don't try to push it through, just discard this. So now we're going to do the same thing with our icing sugar and our cocoa. Okay, and we'll do the same thing. Now with your spatula you're going to gently incorporate everything together. Okay, so around, through the middle, around. You may think that's never going to come together, but trust me, with patience it will, and it will be perfect. So just mixing everything together gently, not to lose all the air in the meringues. Okay, so this is what your mixture should look like. Now you'll know your mixture is perfect once you take some and it ribbons right off your spatula like that. So now we're ready to place it into our piping bag. You also want to make sure that your oven is preheated to 325 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, so now we'll just take our mixture and we'll place it here in our piping bag. If you can't fit it all at once, then do it in 2 portions. Okay. So you can use a tip if you want, but I don't find it necessary. So here you have your batter in your piping bag. Just pull it down, twist, and then we'll snip off a little bit off the end here. Okay, so you can go online and find macaron tracers and print them out, but I really don't find it's necessary because I just eyeball it and then we put them together. So you want to cut off maybe that much, okay? And then take your time, especially if it's the first time making macarons. So what you do is squeeze out some batter and then gently start making a circle and then quickly release. Do the same thing again. There you go. Now make them as big or as small as you like. Okay, I'm going to continue on making mine and then I'll let you know what they look like before we place them in the oven. Okay, so here we have our macarons. Now, it gave me 52 cookies. Now, what we're going to do is we are going to allow this to sit for about half an hour until you can actually touch them and it forms a skin and it no longer sticks to your finger. So about half an hour or so should do the trick. And if you find that after half an hour they're still sticking a little bit, leave it for another 5 minutes or so and then you're ready to bake them. So remember, do not put your oven on preheating until it's been about 20 minutes of resting time. And as soon as the oven is preheated at 325 and your time is up for allowing them to sit on your counters, then you are ready to bake them. So what we're going to do now is after we make our cookies, we want the air to, like if we have any bubbles or anything in our cookies, we want to release them. So what we're going to do is we're just going to bang a bit on our counter. And this releases any excess bubbles you may have in your cookies. So I'm going to do the same thing with this one. Just hold the parchment paper. Okay, so that is good. I'm going to allow these to sit. Okay, so I'll see you really soon. Okay, so as you can see, when I touch my macaron, nothing sticks to my finger. So it's been 20 minutes and now I am ready to put them into my oven. So my oven is preheating at the moment. So once it hits 325 degrees, I'm gonna place them in and I'm gonna allow them to be in there for about 8 to 10 minutes. Now you will notice that it will create kind of like they call it a foot on the bottom of the macaron, which is kind of like a bubbly kind of bottom, which I think everybody knows what a macaron looks like because they're so perfect and elegant. So that's what I'm gonna do. And I also wanted to tell you guys, after you pipe out your macaron cookies, if you notice it has like a little top here, like a little kind of beak sticking out, all you have to do is take a toothpick and pat it down before you allow it to set. And that's about it. So now I'm gonna place them into my oven and I will let you know what they look like when they're done. And we will continue on with our cream cheese cheesecake filling. Alright, so my cookies were in the oven for exactly 8 minutes and no longer because I noticed that they were nicely puffed up and they were ready to be removed. Now, I've made them before, and it does vary. Sometimes it's 8 minutes, sometimes it's 9 minutes. Keep an eye on them. So I did put them in one tray at a time. I do want even baking, so I put them in the middle rack of my oven, and that was it. So I have my other tray in the oven, and now once they are both completely baked, I'm going to allow them to cool for about 20 to 25 minutes, and then in the meantime, we will go on to preparing our filling. Okay, so now for our cream cheese filling, which is going to give us our cheesecake flavor in our macaron. You're going to be using the same cream cheese filling that we used for our whoopie pie recipe. So what you'll need is, instead of using the whole filling recipe, which we used in that recipe, we'll be using half, and it will be more than enough, and you'll probably have some left over. So what we will need for this recipe is 2 ounces of cream cheese softened at room temperature. You will need 2 tablespoons of softened butter, salted or unsalted, it's your choice. And you will need about 1.5 to 2 cups of icing sugar. Now, if you need a little bit more of icing sugar, just add some more in if you find that the consistency is not thick enough. So I'll leave that up to you, but most definitely make sure the filling is on the thicker side, because you don't want it to come out of your macaron. Now, for sure, we will need to let our macarons sit once they have been filled, and 24 hours is usually the time you want to give them before serving, but most definitely you can eat them as soon as they're done, and we will be trying them before refrigerating them for sure. But I just want to give you guys some tips. So this is the cream cheese filling that I used in my whoopie pies, the recipe that I just gave you, and you can also find it under the whoopie pies description box. But I will be adding the link to this recipe so you can take a look there and see how I made that filling. Okay, so let's go on to filling our macaron. Alright, so my cookies have completely cooled off, and as you can see, I have already sandwiched them, not with the filling, without the filling, just making sure that they are the same size to be matched up. And I have done that. Now I have my filling ready, cut off the tip of the bottom of my bag here, or piping bag, and now we are ready to prepare our filling. Now, as we're going along, as I already mentioned, I like to give you guys tips, so you, especially if it's your first time making these, you are certain of step-by-step instructions. So I also want to make sure that you guys do not open your stove while these are baking, so make sure you're never tempted to do that. So now we're going to fill our macarons. So okay, I'm going to put a nice little dollop here and just squish it together like this. Okay, and there you have it. Now make sure they are cooled completely before doing this, because you also don't want to break your cookies and you don't want your filling to start squirting out. I'm going to show you another couple more. Okay. Now, how cute are these? Very simple, guys. Okay. More. So I'm going to continue filling my cookies, and I'll be right back. Alright, so here we have our complete chocolate cheesecake macarons. It's so easy to make, and I really hope you guys give this a try, because most definitely if you follow these steps, you can't go wrong. They will become perfection. So here we have it. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video, but first of all, before we end the video, I'm going to try one. I cannot even tell you guys how delicious these are. Most definitely the filling gives it that cheesecake, chocolate cheesecake flavor. They are so, so good. The recipe is perfect and you must give these a try. If you do, comment in the box below. Let me know what you thought of the recipe. And I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Now be sure to place these in an airtight container before refrigerating them, and most definitely allow them to sit for 24 hours before serving. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Like the video if you enjoyed it. And don't forget to share it with your friends, share it with your family, and just simply enjoy it. You most definitely can also double, triple the recipe. Do whatever you like with it. So I'll see you guys on my next video. And now we have finally completed our cookie series. Take care. Bye everyone.